Hi all, so welcome to the tutorial. Today we will have the introduction of variables, but before going to variables we will create one C++ class, so you should have the understanding. So by default, when you are choosing the third person template, it will create the third person game mode and the third person character for you. And if you will check in the world settings, you have the game mode set as the uh, BP underscore third person game mode and pawn as the BP third person character. If you will go inside this character, you can see that you have this code already written for you. Just for better understanding what we will do, this is the blueprint variant. First we will see how we can create a variables inside the blueprint. So this is the character class. You can see at the left hand side we do have the variables here. We also have functions, but we will talk about this later. In the event graph we can create events. Okay, these are the components which you can see here. This is the capsule component, camera component, this is spring arm component. So here in the variable part, if you will click plus, you can give dummy variable. When you will compile, and you can see at the right hand side in the details panel, you can set a default value to it. So variables are like the data containers. We can store different type of data. Right now this is the boolean, so I can choose like if it is true or false. We have bytes, we have integers, we have floats. So these are the primary type of variable types in Blueprint or in Unreal. So you must be familiar with all of those except vector, rotor and the transform, which are quite new in Unreal. So in the vector, it is the combination of three float. So if you will, if I will choose this follow camera, at the location part you can see like it depicts the position of the camera related to its parent. So its parent component is the camera boom. Relative to this, I do have this a location. If I will increase this, you can see the camera is moving forth, right? If I will change the Y, it will move in Y. If I will choose Z, it will move Z. So if I will change the variant from boolean to the vector, if I will compile again, you can see now I do have the three values. Same, I can go for rotator. Rotator is just different convention which we usually set for the rotation part. So if you will go to the camera again, you can see in the rotation, these are the rotation. This is around x-axis, this is around y-axis, and this is towards z-axis. So if I will go to that dummy variable again, so this is relative to the x, y and z. And we also we do have the naming convention yaw, pitch and roll. Roll is like around x-axis, yaw is around z-axis, and pitch is around y-axis. Again, after rotator we do have the transform. So transform is the combination of location, rotation and the scale. Again, if I will choose the follow camera, you can see it like this transform is the combination of location, rotation and the scale. So if we have to position anything inside the world, we should have the transform. Transform means it will have the location relative to the world coordinate. If I'm talking about this world, let's imagine if this I'm choosing this cube. In the details panel you can see this is the location which is relative to the world, rotation and the scale. If I will scale it down or scale it up, you can see it is increasing, right? So this is the scale. If I will change the location, it will change its location. So if I am choosing the transform, if I will compile, you can see now I do have the combination of location, rotation and scale. So these were the variable types. So we can save any info related to this type. Now what we will do, we will see how we can do the same in C++. So for this, what we will do, till now this project was in Blueprint. It was in pure Blueprint. You can see in all we don't have any C++ folder yet. So we will go to the Windows or Tools, click on New C++ class, and I will create the character. Click Next. we usually prepare a hierarchy like where we should put our classes. So I always prefer core, and inside core for the characters I always create the characters folder, and I will name my character as mem character m character create class. Give it a minute or so, it will create the classes and will generate the project files for you. Okay, so project now includes the sources. Please close the editor and build your IDE. Just click yes. Rider loaded. So this is the default IDE, so it will open it in Rider. For you it will be the Visual Studio. If you are using Visual Studio 19, it won't work with 5.3, so make sure you are in Visual Studio 2022. I have tested it, is working fine. So as soon as you will click next, it will create this m character. Just remove this folder hierarchy from the include from the CPP file, or else it will throw an error. Click save. Okay, you can just close this section, don't save, and we will compile our project from the C++. In your case it will be the Visual Studio. I'm using Rider. Let's click. It is updating source file, so it will take time just to cache everything out for the first time, and in the next go it will be very quick. Okay, I think we are done. So you can see, like, by default when we are creating character, if you do want to compare it, by default it is pretty much empty. It just contain the three functions. If I will press the debug button, it will open the Unreal for us once again, but it will compile the project first, then it will open the Unreal for us. Okay, our project is up. Now you can see at the left hand side, we do have the C++ classes. If you will click on here, we do have the core folder. Inside this we do have our character. Perfect. Now we can just choose our default pawn class. Inside the pawn class, just to use that C++ variant of our character, what we do have to do, just go to the class settings, and here our default parent is the character. If you will see in the m character, it also its parent is also a character. I want for this blueprint class to have this parent, like I want just one layer in between. So what I will do, I will just reparent it to our m character. Click, compile and save. It seems that it does it's not affected, but the hierarchy has changed. So if you will compare these two codes, right now it does contain only begin play here, right? So if you will compare these two, we also have the begin play here, and inside this begin play it's just calling super, that's it. But here I'm not calling super, it just being plain begin play. So first, just to have the proper hierarchy, what I will just right click and add call to the parent function. Compile and save. Now when it will execute the begin play, it will call the begin play of this function, and this will call its parent begin play, so it will be in the proper hierarchy, right? It also does contain the tick. If we can see here, we don't have any tick function, we can create by right click and the tick. Now if we do want to call this tick function, we again have to right click, add call to the parent function. We will just collect these two, and now if I will compile, if I will run my code, it will go through this tick to the parent tick, and it will go here and it will be in the proper flow. We do have one function more, which is setup player input component. It is usually for the bindings. So right now we do have bindings already here. In future tutorials we will remove this and we will shift everything into the C++. Just we do have to wait. Perfect. Next is we will see how we can create variables. So here we do have two classes. One is the header. Sorry, we do have two type of files. One is the header files and the CPP files. Header file is like we are giving the declaration for the variables or the function. So here we have defined the begin play. So we should have the declaration of it. So here we do have the declaration. So you can usually see, like in the header files we usually put the declaration of any function, or if we do want to define a variable a class type variable which we can use anywhere inside the class, we can put it inside the header file. So here I will have the one more section called public. We already have public, but I usually keep things separate, variables and the functions. So here if we want to create the integer type, so int type variable, by default its value is 0. So even if we will keep it default, if I won't put 0, it will automatically take 0. So if we do want to create the float type, so float type variable equal to 0.0f. So this is the float type variable. Next is, there were more types, right? Boolean. So bool type variable is equals to false. What else we do have? Okay, so the main are is string, vector and the transform. Rotator also we can cover. So if we do want to save the string, we do have f string type. So in C++ it's not like in Unreal C++ we do have the variant f string. So it's a string type variable. This is dummy string. Okay, next is the vector. We have f vector type variable, and here we can use 0 vector just for the initialization. We can also, let's imagine if you do want to save a default vector, so we can define it like this: 0 0 comma 0 comma 0, and it will do the task for you. Okay, next is the f rotator. F rotator is equivalent to the rotation variable, the rotator we were talking about. So rotator equals to, so f rotator, we can use the same 0 rotator, or we can define as we have defined the f vector. So f rotator, here we like the sequence is like pitch, yaw and roll. Pitch 0, yaw 0 and roll 0. Next is the f transform. So transform type matrix is equals to transform identity. So in the identity we will have we will have location 0 0 0, rotation 0 0 0, and a scale will be 1 1 1. This is the identity matrix. If we will go to its definition, you can see in the f transform what is that values, but you do have a slight idea now. So this is how we can usually define our variables. Let's imagine if you do want to access these variables here, although we will cover this in the future tutorial, but just for a quick sneak peek, we will just like property read write blueprint read write and edit anywhere. So these are the flags which we usually use to expose it to the blueprint. I will explain what we are doing here. So we are telling, okay, first the edit anyway, what it will give you, it will give you the option to access this detail panel. So here let's imagine for the camera, I am giving power. Okay, you can change it inside the editor. So this is what we call the edit anywhere. So if like now int type variable, we can change its property inside the editor. Next is the blueprint read write. We are suggesting, okay, this variable can be read and write inside the blueprint. So let me compile the code. So just to compile the code, what you can do, just press this button, it will compile the code for you. Gets done. Live coding succeeded. First check in the class default if those variable are there or not. See, we do have under the m character section, we do have int type variable. So these variables are here because we have given the edit anywhere. Okay, if we will remove the edit anywhere, it will be gone from here. So this is the first thing. We can change its variables here. You can see we do have the transform matrix also. Next thing is the blueprint read write. So I can read any variable. So get int type variable, and I can also set int type variable. So I think you have fair understanding why we are using the edit anywhere. Let's imagine you don't want to set any variable value inside the blueprint part. So what I will do, you will just write blueprint read only. So what it will do, it will give us the error whenever we will try to set any variable inside the blueprint. And if we will use the edit anywhere tag, it will remove its from the class default, it will remove that variable from here. So right now a float type variable is here, right? So if I will compile the code, it should be gone now, and we have removed the set property, like write property. It just read only for the integer type. So let me compile that code again and let's check if it is working fine or not. Okay, it's compiled successfully. Let me remove this, compile and save. In the class defaults, you can see now I don't have the float type variable anymore. So this is first. Second is, if let's try to set the int type variable. Set int type variable. It is not there. But if I will try to get int type variable, it is there. Let's try it again. Set int type variable. It is not there. Now you do have fair understanding of these these flags. So this was it for this tutorial. We will see in the next tutorial what are the functions and the loops and all. So thank you and have a nice day. If you are liking my tutorials, just do like and subscribe. Bye bye. Thank you.